Have you ever wondered what the R32 or the R25 means on the Odyssey R forks? Well, today in our explain and review, we're going to talk about the Odyssey R32 and R25 forks. So like always, we want you to hang tight to the end of the video because we're going to tell you how to win a bunch of free bike parts from our shop and also a free bike. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to tell you the full specs about these and also tell you where you guys can buy these forks. So yeah, let's get to it. So we get a lot of customers coming in here and they're always kind of, I don't know what makes them buy what fork or anything like that. To be honest with you, I think they just don't know. So I'm here to kind of explain it to you guys and kind of, I guess, persuade you to buy either one, because there's a big difference in both of the forks, and you guys can kind of take this information in and then be able to decide what you really want the fork to do. And a lot of people come in the shop and they really don't know that there's one fork for another thing and vice versa. So from my experience, I noticed that there's a big difference between the R32s and the R25s. So depending on what type of riding you're going to do and what you want the fork to do, then I would suggest a certain one. So pretty much these forks are built exactly the same. There's just two big differences. The first difference is if you look at the R32 fork, notice that you can see the full tube of bar right here. On the R25s, they actually slant backwards a little bit right here, and we'll probably do another video on the R25 just to show you an example. But today we're going to just talk about the R32s and more of the R32s. But hey, we might even do the R25 just because it's kind of, a similar fork, and it gives you a little bit more visual understanding. But you can definitely check them out on our website at stackbmx.com. I don't think it makes a big difference, but some people, think it does. But to me, it's pretty much the same thing. They just put a little notch in here on the side to change the actual fork a little bit, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So let's start off at the top of the fork and we'll work our way down, and I'll let you know what the difference is between the R32 and the 35 are later, or R25s are when we get down to the dropout. So let's start off with the cap. A cool thing is that this Odyssey fork comes with a pretty cool machine CNC cap on here. So if you look on it, it's got a pretty cool laser etching that goes all the way around it, and in the center it's got a 6mm Allen wrench bolt hole in there. So basically this is a compression bolt, and what the compression bolt does is this is what actually keeps your headset tight. We see a lot of customers coming in here, they just wrench on different bolts, they tighten on this thing, they strip this thing out, and they really don't know what they're doing, and then they complain that they had to pay somebody here in the shop to work on their forks, but their headset's never tight. That's basically because you guys have the lack of knowledge, and I'm here to show you guys or tell you that knowledge. So to help you guys out, I'm going to tell you how a fork works and how the headset works and how to make your headset tight. So if you notice on these forks don't have any threads like the old school forks. The old school forks are a little bit smaller tubing, and the more you thread it down, the tightens up your headset. But there's no threads on here. So what are you going to do? That's where this bolt comes in play. So if you notice, this is where it has the bolt or the actual threads, and if you look inside this fork, let me move my arm a little bit. Turn it to the side a little bit. I think I can see you. Yeah. Up. Yep, there you go. See those threads in there? Those are designed so that you can thread this in and it'll actually pull your headset together. That's what creates these forks, to help your headset get tight and helps your stem to stay tight. So if you're familiar with the 1/8" threadless headset or stem, then you notice that your stem has a little slot in the back and it has two bolts. Sometimes they're both on the same side, sometimes they're on the opposite, but traditionally they're usually on the same side. So we'll just talk about them on the same side. So with that slit there on that stem is basically like a little clamp. And that clamp, what it does is it actually just holds onto this tube. So when you tighten up the little side bolts, that has nothing to do as far as keeping your headset tight. The only thing that does is it keeps your stem from turning left and right and spinning. So you want that stem to be straight with your front wheel, or you want your handlebars to be parallel with the tubing of the fork. If your bars and your forks don't line up like that and your wheel's crooked, something's going on. It's either the fork legs are bent, your handlebars are bent, your stem's is bent, or your wheel's bent, or it's stuck in the dropout wrong, or even your wheel's dished wrong. And by dished wrong, that means somebody trued up your wheel or built your wheel not on a truing stand, some backyard boogie type stuff. So when they do that, they actually just tighten up the spokes, and they don't realize that they got to keep that in the center of the hub. So when they do that and they tighten up the spokes just because they came loose, it'll actually pull that ring to the side. Now that's why you slide that wheel into the fork, and then you're grabbing your wheel and you're kicking it. That's a big no-no, because what it's doing is actually popping one of the dropouts out, or the axles out, and it's just floating there. So every time you land on your peg or you hit a big drop, that axle pops in there again and it kicks the wheel sideways. So that's why your wheel never stays straight. So take your wheel to a professional bike shop, you know what I mean, anybody that knows how to build wheels or dish them, and have them true your wheels up properly, because a lot of your buddies that claim to build wheels, they don't know what they're doing. You know, they have a concept of it, but they don't know exactly what they're doing, and they're blowing it even though they don't realize they're blowing it. So those are the big factors that we've seen of keeping your wheel straight. So once you have all those in line, what you can actually do is you can literally make your bars parallel with your forks, and your wheel straight with the stem, and that'll actually keep your forks and everything aligned, and it won't make you feel like you're dogtailing or kind of super squirrely. Seen a lot of squirrely guys out there, so definitely want to make sure that stuff's dialed. So once you have all that stuff dialed, what that stem does is it clamps up here, and then this bolt up here is actually what brings it all together. And that's the hard part, is bringing it all together. You may have bits and pieces, but this is what brings it together. This part right here, you don't have to crank on it. You don't have to put a big giant wrench on it. It's not designed for that. It's made to be real easy. And since I've been riding bikes and we've put an integrated headset on one of my first bikes, I've seen it, you know what I mean, on the Behringer, and I've seen it on a race bike, and the thing is, I fell in love with it right away. I ended up getting a frame and had a custom head tube put on it, a race head tube, and it comes from the road bike stuff, and I took it to the skate park, and a lot of people gave me crap for it. And I just laughed in their face, and I go, whatever guys. In 1 year, 2 years, you guys are gonna be running the same thing. And they laughed and made jokes. I see you guys still today, you guys are riding it. So, joke's on you guys. So, they made it real simple, and this is super cool. And the thing is that once you know how it works and, you know what I mean, understand it, it'll come together real easy. So like I said, you don't need to tighten this up all the way. All it is to basically suck it up a little bit. So what you want to do is make sure your bearing's on correctly. This fork here has a bottom race on it, so usually you could just slide an integrated headset, the bottom bearing on it, no other pieces or anything like that. Make sure you obviously grease this edge, grease the bearings, slide it into your frame, but maybe even grease the inside of the cup of your frame, slide it in, slide the bottom bearing in. Then there's like a little aluminum compression piece in there, so you'll slide that on there. And sometimes the headset, the cap is a little bit taller on the outside than the actual headset sticks up out of the frame. So sometimes the headset comes with a little wafer washer. I see a lot of you guys just throwing it away. Don't do that, guys, like you're blowing it. So what you want to do is actually use that little spacer, drop it on that compression bolt on top of it, in between your actual headset cap. Once you put your headset cap on top, that'll make it clear just a hair, and that's what you want. So once you do that, put your spacers that you need, or no spacers if you're not running spacers. Slide your stem on there. Once your stem's on there, now this is a big problem because I see a lot of people doing it, and I want to express how important this is. Okay, when you actually tighten up your headset, you don't want to crank this down, and you don't want to crank the bolts on the side down. What you want to do is you want to snug up the side bolts just enough to kind of hug it real nice. Because if you tighten it down too much, what it's going to do is it's going to pinch this tube, and you're going to wrench on this thing, and you don't want that. So also too, you don't want to wrench on this because it's going to smash your bearings and you're going to move your bars and these bolts are loose and it's still going to feel loose. That's the kicker. I've seen a lot of people do that and that kind of ruins it for you. So what you want to do is just keep it snug, slowly tighten this thing up, and what it's going to do is it's going to actually suck all those bearings, all those headsets all together and make your headset kind of snug. Now this is the hard part, and the patience comes in big play for this feature, because a lot of you guys are really impatient. It's really tough to be patient because everybody's out there riding and you're trying to go ride. So what you actually want to do is you're gonna just snug it up a little bit and play with it. Snug it up a little bit, tighten these bolts, tighten it up, see if it rocks. But you can snug it up pretty good without having a wrench on it. And if you do that and then tighten up the bolts, 99% of the times your headset will stay tight and it'll spin because it's just designed to be super, super easy. And I do this all the time. So definitely think about that when you put the headset on. And then once you feel it being super snug, then you can crank down on the side bolts and you may just give it a little turn to snug it up. And that will lock everything in. So this bolt on the top is really cool. And another thing is that I noticed is that it's got a pretty large hole in there, so you could definitely run a front brake cable. Not saying there's a brake cable mount on here, but you can definitely do that if you wanted to. The hole's big enough. But that's the cool part about this cap, and that's how it kind of works. And another thing that's cool is that it's 4130, or actually, it's 4130 heat treated chromoly, and this is machined out of one solid piece. So this whole tube is actually a tube of metal. They get a machine and it grinds down here. You can see the CNC marks right there on the fork. So it almost looks like a record player or a record. I don't know if you kids know what a record is, but back in the day, you used to put it on a little spinny thing, and little needle drops. People start dancing and stuff. That's what's right here. It's kind of little bumps or like little lines in it, but that's basically what it looks like. You can see it's machined down, and then it steps right here and gives you a built-in race. Back when we used to ride, when we first started out, we used to have to get a hammer and bang this thing on, and most of the time we wrecked it. So having it built in makes it super awesome. Less parts, less worries, easy. So also too, if you look at the bottom of the fork, this thing is milled out completely to make it super, super light. So super, super cool on that part. Steer tube, super solid. Most of the time when they bend forks, they're bending them right here. But cool thing about these forks, lifetime guarantee. Make sure you buy them from a bike shop. Make sure that you save your receipt. Make sure that you definitely like take good care of them. Try not to cut the forks. Try not to bang it around. Definitely don't buy them used and still think that there's a lifetime warranty, because there's not. Once it starts changing hands, we don't know where that stuff comes from. You don't get any warranty because it could have been in anybody's, little sister's room, older sister's room. It could be in the back garage. It could be, who knows where it's been. So definitely don't touch anything and don't put it anywhere where you don't know where it's been. So definitely lifetime warranty. If you ever have a problem with it, take it back to the local bike shop that you bought it from. Have them contact Odyssey. Odyssey's really, really good with these warranties. They'll send it back, no problem. Easy deal. I've done it, a few times with some other stuff that people kind of, I don't want to say it was their fault, but it looked pretty close. So they just kind of turned a blind eye, hooked you guys up, and sent you on your way because, definitely they stand behind their product. They know that they're making good stuff. So if something ever happens to it, they got your back. So definitely take advantage of lifetime warranty. I know these forks are a little bit more expensive than most of the other forks, but think about it. You're paying an extra 20, 25 bucks for a lifetime warranty. I'd probably take a lifetime warranty over it. So definitely a good idea on their part. Definitely a good idea on your part to buy them. And, definitely save you a lot of time and trouble. Another thing is that these things got a pretty cool tapered fork leg. Now, tapered basically means it's larger side on here, smaller down here, and it just basically gets smaller here. But if you notice on this side, it's pinched. And the reason why it's pinched is to clear your dropout, clear like your hub guard, your hub, and just stay out of the way from everything. The fork is really, really wide. You can run a 2.5 tire on here, no problem. Obviously you can run a smaller tire, 2.1, 1.75 if you want. Oh man, even probably a 1 3/8 if you want, inch and eighth if you want. But definitely big enough to run a 2.5. And the legs look super cool. It's got this pretty cool R32 graphic on it. The R25s have just a 25 graphic, and like I said, the tube right here is actually back a little bit and has kind of a cap. And on the inside of here, it has an Odyssey sticker on the inside right here. So it looks super cool because when you're looking at it, you can see Odyssey R32 kind of links up pretty cool. I guess this side would look a little bit better for you. Odyssey R32. So that looks cool. And then these dropouts are, they look like a 4mm dropout. So they're relatively thin, but remember these are heat treated and these are built to be super, super light. So by making them really, really thin and heat treating them, makes them super, super tough and super, super light. I noticed that they have a pretty large dropout area, and the reason why is so that it clears the peg. I've seen a lot of pegs go on these forks, and every single one has no problem bolting up and basically be running on these forks. So if you're running pegs on these forks, no problem, dope, fits perfect. So running pegs, cool, check, easy. And we were going to tell you what's the difference between the R32s and the R35s, and now here's what is actually different between those two forks. So if you're familiar with the different offsets on forks, that's the kicker. That's what they mean by R32 and R25. An R32 is a 32 offset, and an R25 is a 25 offset. Now, the offset is basically how far this dropout sticks out and where the axle sits. So the offset is center of this tube here to out here, which is 32mm. So in the center of this to here is going to be 32mm. So with that said, is a 32mm is a pretty normal, fork rake on it. A very popular fork that's been around for a long time is a 30mm fork. So this one sticks out a little bit more, but creates a little bit of flop, similar to like a Harley motorcycle or something like that. But it's not ridiculous. It actually feels real nice for like trails or skate parks and stuff like that. A lot of the guys, they want a 32 or 30 to, I would say 33mm fork, mainly because when you're going real fast, you want the wheel to kind of just ride on its own. So with it kicked out forward more, what it does is allows you to basically do no hands and that fork to ride on its own. So when you're jumping big giant jumps, this thing's gonna handle real well. It's not gonna be twitchy on turns. You're not gonna catch a turn and go over the bars. So R32s come in perfect for that. And then basically the R25s are designed for more of the new school riders. And the 25 is actually, it's inset only 25mm. So with the inset a little bit more, you gotta realize that peg is gonna sit back more. So the R25s had a little notch right here, and you can check it out on our website, stackbmx.com, go under forks, scroll down, R25s, you'll see the little notch on there. Looks a little bit different, but everything else is the same. So it just changes that rake. And what that does, or rake or offset, we used to say rake back in the day, but offset is what you guys are using now. But it basically moves it forward or back more, and what that allows you to do is it allows it to be a little bit more, I would say, not so much twitchy. It'd be steeper, so it reacts faster. So what I mean by reacting faster is that when it's set back a little bit more, if you go into like a nose manual, it'll be easier to nose manual because the wheel's set back farther. It's kind of like a rocking horse or something like that, like teeter-totter. So if you had like the center over here way forward like a 32, it's going to be harder to get up and to tilt that little seesaw. But if you kick it back here in the center, it's going to be a lot easier to make it seesaw. So that's kind of the idea between the R32s and the R25s. So if you're riding more of a skate park, or you're trying to do like slower maneuvers, doing nose manuals, doing toothpicks, hangover toothpicks, you know what I mean, any weird grinds like that, you're probably going to want to do a R25 fork. If you're more of the trails guy, park, jumping big jumps, hitting the box jumps, doing transfers, you're probably going to want the R32 forks. So with that said, that's a difference. Like always, you can pick them up from our bike shop, stackbmx.com. All these forks fit on any of the complete bikes that we sell. They fit any of the headsets that we sell, any of the stems. We make it easy for you. So if you got a mom looking for bike parts and you don't want to send them to the other websites that got everything in the world that your mom might just buy what's cheapest and get you the crappy stuff, come to our shop, buy our stuff. You know, because we're gonna set you up with the right stuff. They won't have to search around. You can just tell them, hey, everything on there fits my bike. Order from Stack BMX. They know what's up. So definitely buy any of the stuff, swap it out, make it your own. So check out our website, support us. It gets us hyped. You know what I mean? It gets us super hyped up because we've seen your orders. We know there's a rider out there riding it. We know you're watching these videos. We know that you're a little bit smarter than everybody else. We know that you know what's up. You know that these forks are going to perform well. You're not investing into another brand that's not really supporting BMX or doing anything positive for BMX. You're supporting the brands that know what's going on. They're supporting all the BMX pros that are actually trying to make something happen, and you're just supporting something positive. So definitely support our shop, support Odyssey for making some super dope forks, support their lifetime warranty, just support all the good stuff that's going on with BMX right now. Dudes are making really cool stuff. So props to these guys. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Thanks for designing these. Thanks for manufacturing them. Thanks for sending them overseas all the way to us. Thanks for shipping to our bike shop. You know what I mean? All the stuff that you do, we appreciate that. And make sure that you support them. And to show that we love you and to help you guys out a little bit, like I said, we're gonna give away some free stuff on this YouTube channel. So all you gotta do is like this video, you gotta share it, you gotta turn on your notification bells, and you gotta comment below. We want you to comment pretty much what you like about this video, what you don't like about this video, what products we should review in the future, what I missed, what I could do in the future, if you want me to do more bike maintenance, if you want me to talk about a certain complete bike, pretty much anything. But to be honest with you, we're probably only gonna post videos about the stuff that we carry in our bike shop because that's what we care about, that's what we think is best, and we believe in all those products. So definitely maybe look on our website, check out those things, and say, hey, you know what, I don't see a review on, this frame, or Odyssey handlebars, or Odyssey grips, or anything like that, and leave a suggestion down there, because that's gonna enter you into our contest, because at 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna give one of you guys a free parts package from all of the brands that we carry. So we're gonna give you some tires, grips, pedals, and some other stuff we don't want to tell you about. But we'll make it super, super sweet for you guys. And at 5,000 subscribers, we're gonna give a free bike away, retailed at $300, and ship it to you guys free of charge, just for doing those things, just for sharing it, just for showing us some love. So make sure you subscribe to us, make sure you share this to your friends, because the faster we get to those subscribers, the faster you guys get the free stuff, and the faster you guys can ride bikes. So we appreciate you once again. Thanks for all your help. Thanks for all your love. Thanks for the comments below. Thanks for turning on notification bells. Thanks for sharing our video. And thanks for coming back every day. We appreciate it. Have a good day. Ride BMX.